and Erica Murray is here today to share allowing love from an inward perspective. They are such a beautiful couple, and I'm so excited to have them here today. My name is Tracey Johnson of Allowing Love, and welcome, Erica and Steve.
Thank you.
Share a little bit about who you guys are and what you actually do in terms of assisting others as a couple on your journey.
Okay, I guess I'll start. I'm a certified life coach and a business consultant, and whether I'm life coaching one-on-one or working within business, my focus, my passion is helping people to live free, right? And help them navigate when they're going through periods of change, periods of transition. And so I take those skills and what we both bring, Spence as an educator and a minister. When it comes to relationships, we do presentations, workshops, all around the purpose of relationships.
Spence, would you like to add anything?
Sure. Well, as an educator and minister, I've been in education for about 23 years now. And I've been a minister for maybe 15 to 18 years. And so when Erica and I met, we both brought different skills and different things to the table, so to speak. And so my focus has always been teaching. I love teaching. Taught in the classroom for years, but now I love teaching spiritual principles and teaching about relationship principles. And I use my experience to do that. So as an educator and minister, I talk a lot about knowing who you are, knowing who you are in relationship, and how to be in relationship, and how you can maintain who you are in relationship. And so when we talk about people who are in any type of relationship, not just a marriage, but any relationship, I always think of this one statement that I heard a long time ago: how can I love you without losing me? You know, and so how can I maintain who I am? So first I talk about maintaining who you are, period, in the world, in society, no matter where you go, maintaining that oneness, right? So sometimes people are involved in different things. It might be a church, it might be a sorority, it might be a fraternity, it might be with a group of friends, it might be with this. And so sometimes you find that people are different depending on what group they're in. You know, they might wear different masks, they might wear a different face. And so what I talk about is bringing kind of oneness, deciding who you want to be, so you can bring that to every interaction. Okay. You know, so you're not swayed. So that's one thing I talk about, and then bringing that into relationship. And I think the greatest work and the most challenging thing is to maintain that within relationship. So we talk about that a lot in our workshop.
And I think one of the things that Spence brought up that's important to really focus on is, as we do workshops and whenever we're doing anything together, that transparency, I think that really makes a big difference when it comes to people being able to relate to us and be able to see themselves in us.
Because so often, you know, people want to put on their good face and act like, you know, when they're doing couples ministry, like that it's easy, and we all know that it is not. Exactly. And one of the things you may mention in terms of when you and Erica met, you brought two different aspects of relationship and building and how you came together. It actually created a strength. But share a little bit with me about, you know, Spence, like when you first met Erica and your knowing that you had from within, because this is what I want to talk about. A lot of times, you know, in relationships, or when people look at relationships, they define love as something that is outside of them and don't really understand and can see how the inward love that you have tapped into as an individual and loving yourself, how it connects with that individual in terms of you being married or being in a relationship as just a couple and dating, or anyone outside of a couple type relationship. Share a little bit, one, about how you guys met and how, in terms of that connection.
Sure. We were in Michigan, and I had I had been a minister at a spiritual community called Transforming Love Community. And I'd been there for some years. And at a certain time, I had left that particular church. And while I was gone away from there for some years, Erica started going there. And so I ended up going back to Transforming Love in about end of 2008, 2009. So anyway, by the time I came back, I had gone through some things in my life, of course, and Erica had gone through some things in her life. But the spiritual leader had asked Erica to come up to the front and speak. And Erica was speaking to the congregation about doing her life coaching. She was going to offer life coaching. And I was actually going to speak that day. She didn't know it. I was just sitting on the front row. And when Reverend Shahira asked her to come up and speak, as soon as she opened her mouth, I just felt a warmness and I felt something in the spirit. And I immediately looked up and I felt an immediate connection. And of course, on those times you don't know how things are going to play out, but I knew there was a connection. I knew that we would be connected. And so
it wasn't about how beautiful she was.
Oh, she was definitely beautiful. But I felt, something that I felt, and certainly that was an added plus. But it was definitely something about, what I felt, and particularly I felt her sincerity as she talked about coaching and helping people and overcome obstacles in their life and healing. And I immediately felt that, and we began conversation after. And I'll tell you a little bit later. I'll tell you something else about how we started embarking on the relationship. But I just felt it. But I will say this, that when we met, I think timing is important too, because we both were, I want to say whole people in the sense that we knew what our passion was. We knew what our experiences were. And we knew what we were here to do. And so we weren't looking for that in each other. We knew, so we came together as whole people, and I think that's very important. And we connected and continued.
As I tell people, I was in church minding my own business, and just enjoying the fellowship.
She's still glowing.
And then
all right.
He was chasing me.
Oh, okay. So
our stories are a little different.
So with this show being Allowing Love, and we want to focus on the love from within, sharing from within. Erica, give us a brief definition in terms of, from your perspective, when it concerns a couple and what allowing love, or what love, define love for us.
Well, from the perspective of how I am loving and living and being in relationship with Spence, which then helps me be in relationship with other relationships, right? So not just intimately, but with whether it's coworkers or friendships, whatever the case may be. The one word that comes to mind for me is freedom. The freedom to be myself. And that's something that I was already on that path prior to Spence and I getting together, right?
That's important.
Prior, absolutely. Prior to he and I getting together, I was already on that path, going through heartaches prior to he and I meeting. I'm divorced, and so as I was going through that divorce, I really started seeing myself and kind of chipping away at those things that really didn't make me essentially who I was. Looking at what I was doing that wasn't allowing me to be true to myself. And so to be true to myself became increasingly important to me. I even went from doing the straight comb to getting sister locks. My sister locks are a representation for me of freedom. And so that then translated into, when he and I got together, the freedom to be myself, to be free. And then me being free to be myself then gives him permission to be free to be who he is. So, anytime that he may, we're not speaking for Spence, but so often we give ourselves away in relationship thinking that that's the answer. And I would think we would like to say that it's something very different. Freedom.
So Vince, share, from men's perspective, what love is in terms of a relationship coming from within.
Well, I think it's freedom too. I have to echo that concept of freedom. I will say this, since this is allowing love, allowing someone to be who they are. Perfect example. I want to go back to this and tell this quick little story. When Eric and I met about, I was teaching in Detroit, and so vacation was coming up, and so I was planning on going to Florida. And in about a week or two, and I just asked Eric, I had known her maybe a week or two, want to go to Florida. And I was on the computer, we were on the phone, and she said, this was this guy asked me to go to Florida, I'm sure. I said, do you want to go to Florida? I'm on the computer now, I'm going to put your name in and buy the tickets right now. Do you want to go? And she said, well, I love to travel. Are you being serious? I said, yeah, I'm very serious. Do you want to go to Florida and have a good time? And she said yes, and I bought the ticket, and we agreed, let's just go and have a good time. If when we come back, we don't feel like we want to continue, whatever, we don't feel like we want to continue to communicate, that's fine. Whatever happens is fine. Let's just go and have a good time. No strings attached. We went and had the best time. And so the rest is history. And so here we are over 5 years later, 6 years later, actually, and still living that type of life. And so when I think of the freedom and love, I think about the fact that Erica has a job now that she just got not too long ago. She's going to be out of town for the rest of the year, every week for the rest of the year. And so I think sometimes in relationship, typically the husband or wife, depending on which way it is, it says, why you're not going to be here? Who's going to do this for me? Who's going to do this? You get used to. But, I want Erica to be who she is. And so when I talk about freedom, though we have the label of relationship, Erica's purpose here is not to be my wife. Erica's purpose on this universe is not to be my wife. It's not to do things for me or handle what people would consider duties are of a spouse. She's not here. She's here to live her life, be self-actualized. And so that freedom to be who you are. And that's your way of demonstrating and allowing love in your relationship.
Exactly. But one of the things too, like when you talk about freedom, so often men look at when they get married and in the back of their mind, even though they're doing it, look at that they're losing a sense of freedom or a part of their freedom because they're getting married and they're not able to go and do things the way they normally were able to do whenever they were single. So you didn't feel that way. You saw it as, even in coming together as a husband and wife, that you still had that sense of freedom and that Erica trusted you and you were able to trust Erica to be able to fully be and do.
And we're very transparent about that, Tracey, because and this is why I think people kind of vibe with us when we're talking in workshops, very transparent, because by the time we married, Erica had been divorced once, I had been divorced twice. And so I felt the pain of trying to live it according to a script of what a husband should be, what a wife should be. I felt that. I felt that pain of trying to live up to an obligation, what marriage says you should be, rather than look at relationship as opportunities for life-giving experiences. And so I felt that pain. And so, I wasn't born, wanting, talking about, let's be free. I tried to live according to that script, and I'm sure she did too, and it just didn't work.
Thank you so much, Spencer and Erica, for all of the information and the valuable insight that you shared in regards to your relationship. I really, really appreciate it. I hope that our viewers was able to gather some information that they can use in their lives, their day-to-day lives, in their relationship. And as always, love is all there is. It is a force that gives life to everything and everyone. It is expressed and experienced in many different ways. And to the degree that you allow love is to the degree that you are able to experience and have the capacity to express it. Again, my name is Tracey Johnson, and this is Allowing Love. Until next time, thank you.
The journey of life often creates blockages of doubt, fear, and disbelief. This can dam up our hearts and hinder the flow of love. To find out more about allowing love, contact Tracey Johnson at allowing528hz@gmail.com or call 678-653-2688.